My name is Damien, founder of Wheyhey, co-founder of Wheyhey Ice Cream. We started Wheyhey out of a need, really. As John mentioned, I was a sports scientist, did a master's degree in human performance, and went home one weekend, and my mum has got type 2 diabetes, and she was eating a frozen yogurt. And I said, what the hell are you eating? Why are you eating that? Oh, it's good for me, it's low in fat, and it's low in calories. I said, Mum, there's about 40 grams of fructose in there, what the hell? So we said, if these big companies aren't going to do it, we're going to do it. And we saw the growth in the protein space at the time as well. This is probably 4.5, 5 years ago. And from there, went back to London. I live in London. Just after finishing my master's, worked with Chelsea in the GB Performance program pre-Olympics. And we bought a freezer, a mobile ice cream machine on eBay, back to Greg's apartment, to my business partner in Brixton. And I'm not sure if you know about Brixton, but it's a pretty rough part of London. And we said, okay, if we're going to make an ice cream here to target this brand new market and opportunity, we want to start from the nutritionals and work backwards. We didn't have an iota in terms of business, brand, how are we going to start a business? We just had this crazy idea. So we said, okay, it needs to be high in protein, completely natural, sugar-free, ideally, to give people a truly healthy alternative. So we rang up every supplier we could in Europe in terms of protein deliveries, and we had a 50-kilo bag of whey protein delivered to the flat in Brixton. You can imagine it comes as a big white powder bag, and every one of our neighbours thought we were drug dealers. And then the ice cream machine whirring in the background at night, so literally it was like an episode of Breaking Bad, white powder everywhere. And we started from there, and we came up with the brand Wheyhey. So Wheyhey is full of whey protein isolate, 20 grams, completely sugar-free, all natural, gluten-free, and diabetic-friendly. And Gary mentioned about building a brand. We had no idea. We just come up with this great idea with the whole Dragon's Den thing. Oh, we're millionaires. This is going to be a booming success immediately. So we got into the whole scenario of how do we build a brand. So Greg, who's a bit of a tech guy, borrowed a copy of Illustrator from the internet. Slightly illegal, but don't tell anybody. We've given it back since, don't worry. And we developed our own brand, Wheyhey Ice Cream, with our own packaging. This is how we compare nutritionally. So our sugar content obviously is way down on everybody else. Our protein content is way up. Calories are quite significantly lower than regular ice cream and frozen yogurt. And our salt and fat content are quite low also. So we believe we've got the healthiest ice cream on the planet. We've got the healthiest dessert on the planet. And that's where we started from. And then it was, again, how do we build a brand? How do we build packaging? We went to every manufacturer in the UK at the time. Nobody wanted to come near us. Ice cream was is still a very traditional industry. We went and met really Italian gelato manufacturers, and they were like, Damien, this is blasphemy. This is not ice cream. Like, where is the cream? Where is the sugar? This isn't ice cream. So we found a small manufacturer up in Nottingham, and we did our first production run. And at the same time, we were trying to get some packaging made. So we met the packaging company, and we were like, look, we're going to build we were an Irish company, we're going to build Ireland's next Red Bull brand here. Trust me, we're going to be massive. We want to place an order for packaging to send to our manufacturer. And the guy's like, Damien, this is minimum order quantities of about 200,000 units on packaging. We didn't have any money. So we said, look, you know what, could you leave us 50 sample pots? We'll have a look at the packaging and see what happens. So a bit of ingenuity, we printed off our pack design on literally A4 paper, took his sample pots and glued our first 50 pots. And that was where our brand started. And we made our first 50 pots of ice cream. Our manufacturer in Nottingham, again, completely new and naive to business, rings and says, Damien, I've made you your samples. We're going to have them down outside. Can you send me your business address? No. I was like, right, business address, Brixton. What can we do with Brixton? Okay, how many samples are we going to get? Thinking he'd send a couple of cases of ice cream down. That's outside our flat in Brixton. And at the time, I was working full-time. Greg was working full-time. So literally took the day off work, rang all of my friends saying, I need you to come help. Do you want some ice cream? Can we put the ice cream into your freezer? Neighbours, I was going into local schools, running. I'm lucky I'm not on some kind of list at this stage, giving ice cream out to everybody and anybody. And from there, we gave people the ice cream, and we gave the kids on the street, and everybody thought this is just great tasting ice cream. And that was our almost proof of concept. Nobody knew what it was. They didn't realize it was completely sugar-free, high in protein, natural, and they thought it was just a regular ice cream. So that was a huge win for us. And then it was, okay, how do we sell this? And Gary talked about sales. All that matters, you can have a beautiful brand. There's no point having a beautiful brand in your warehouse. So we bought a mobile freezer unit, filled it with our 50 or 60 pots of ice cream, and traipsed up and down central London, selling into independent gyms, health stores, anywhere we could. And we started off in the gym market, and we came up with a pretty major hurdle. Every one of the gymmers was like, this is a huge idea, everyone's going to buy this, but we don't have a freezer. So we go, fuck, we forgot the freezer issue, right? So it's ice cream. It's like, these gyms love it. How are they going to sell it out of a freezer? So we found a freezer supplier in Germany who supply Unilever and Nestle. And we were just like, hi, mate. My name's Damien. I'm going to build the next Red Bull brand out of London. We're going to be massive. Can you give us 50 freezers on credit? And the guy, I don't know if you deal with Germans, but it was immediate no. So from there, we rang him back the next day, or next week. Look, please, 20 freezers. I promise you, we're going to be Red Bull. This is going to be huge. We're going to come in on the ground level, and we're going to make you famous, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, he gave us 20 freezers on credit. So 30 days credit, so we knew we had 30 days to sell 20 freezers into gyms, get the ice cream in, or else I had a crazy German guy chasing me for money. And we did. We sold the freezers into some of the major gyms in the UK, so the likes of Virgin Active, Equinox, and some of the other larger gym chains as a test. And that was our first freezer in a store. We designed the freezers ourselves. Now, the guy just sent a blank freezer, so we literally designed our own sticker, got these printed ourselves, and actually stickered the freezers ourselves. And this is Dan. Dan was the first gullible guy to buy a freezer from us. He's now our head of operations, and he's been fantastic and doing a great job. From that, we went into his Nature Intended, which is a really small store chain in the UK, in London, like a mini Whole Foods, and became a best-selling product in there pretty much immediately. And then we had Holland & Barrett. And again, we talked about earlier with the guys about being naive in business and thinking, you know, Holland & Barrett, we were watching Dragons Den. We're millionaires. Holland & Barrett are all over us. We've done it. So Holland & Barrett placed an order. We were like, grand, we'll take the order. We'll go into Holland & Barrett. Fantastic. How the hell are we going to produce this? So literally rang friends, family, everybody we knew, and said, come here. Remember I said we're going to build Ireland's next Red Bull brand? Right, have you any money? So we begged, borrowed, stole anything we had to produce for Holland & Barrett. It was about probably £60,000 worth of product at the time. Put it into a storage facility in London. Went off for the weekend thinking, well, this is it, we've done it, we're amazing. And came back on Monday to that. And so it was hey, yeah, I can laugh at it now, but to be honest, when we saw this at the time, we turned around, it was a Monday morning, it was wet and rainy, went to the bar, had a few drinks, said we'd deal with this later. So rang, it's one of our key learnings really, and it's something that I probably shouldn't say if I'm on camera, but one of our key learnings in business has been generally retailers and so-called experts in your space and people that are supposed to look after all the other aspects of your business generally aren't very good. So we go into every relationship now with the expectation that they're going to screw us, essentially. And if they don't, we're winning. So after this, we rang Holland & Barrett and spoke to the buyer, explained to the buyer. The buyer was very helpful. It was great. And just said, look, we'll give you 2 or 3 weeks. Can you refill the order? So it was back to the start. And again, ringing friends and family. It was like, remember 2 weeks ago when I said we're building Red Bull? Like, right, I promise you we are. So have you any money? So again, we sold everything we owned and refilled Holland & Barrett. That was us. Ooh. How do I get back? So this is us now, but Holland & Barrett, we had to repack everything in freezers, and minus 25 freezers in London ourselves, repacked it into smaller boxes, got it onto Holland & Barrett. And this is kind of our team currently in branding and how we supported the Holland & Barrett launch. We've moved on from this. This was very much kind of shock, Abercrombie type thing, cheap and cheerful, all friends, which went down a storm. We used a lot of social media, which again Gary spoke about earlier. It's our only spend. We only spend money using digital and social. We don't have any advertising. And that's our team. Again, that's that V-Fest. Very early on, again, because of such an innovative product, we won endorsements from most of the Premier League football clubs, rugby clubs. We mentioned Richard Branson earlier, which I'll come on to. We did some stuff with some of the Olympic teams and celebrities. And then, quite randomly one day, we got a call to the office from this guy who was like, "Hi, I'm the procurement officer from Necker Island. So Richard has come across your ice cream and would really like some samples." Now, I'm from Cork City, right, as you can probably tell. Some people think I'm Jamaican in the UK, random. But that's not a joke, by the way. So when I go home, none of my friends were entrepreneurs, like builders, teachers, whatever. So generally I go home, it's like, "Oh, here comes Mr. Whippy," or "Here comes Bill Gates," type. So I thought it was one of the lads kind of winding me up. So I said, "Yeah, not a bother, we'll send you the ice cream," and just kind of ignored it. And then a couple of days later, it was like, "Sorry, I'm head of procurement. So Richard likes the ice cream. It's his daughter's birthday. Can you send the ice cream?" And I was like, "Oh, geez, it must be real." So they sent through the order, and then I was like, "Yeah, no problem, we'll get it out. We need it in 3 days." So then we were thinking, okay, the guy owns an airline, right? Surely he can get ice cream there himself. And he couldn't, so we had to find a way of getting ice cream to Necker Island within 3 or 4 days, and rang everybody, anybody, and nobody could do it except a company that specialised in shipping body parts and blood, essentially, all over the world. But we made it happen, and off the back of that, it was free press, so Richard selected us as Virgin Pioneers in business, which are companies that have a real meaning and truth behind what they're trying to achieve. And what we're trying to achieve as a brand is changing how people perceive to eat healthily. So which, again, as David mentioned earlier, it's like, where's the tension? The world, unfortunately, is getting old, and I would add also fat, which is the truth. And we are trying to address that in multiple categories. From there, again, our brand, again, the only Irish guy in the front, no tan. So as you can tell, I wasn't allowed in any more product photos after this. It was like, you don't fit the brand. So that's how we built it. And from there, we won listings in the UK. We went really tight in the UK, focused on the natural channel for the first couple of years. So Holland & Barrett, Whole Foods, Muscle Food, which is an online retailer, GNC, Revital. And then we went online with Tesco last year for a trial. We said no to the big multiples up until then. And the trial was incredibly successful. So we go into 1,000 Tesco stores with a new innovation on the 19th of March. Our manufacturer's here, actually, so he'll be under pressure to deliver that. And also Sainsbury's nationally from the first week of April in the UK. And then internationally, so it was like the UK, when we launched this brand, we didn't have any money, and the market wasn't ready. So how do we get sales? And it was, luckily, because of the innovation we've created, we had fantastic partners internationally approach us. So this is a downtown party in Kuwait City. So we literally took over a market in Kuwait City, massive diabetes issue, and a lot of young people into health and fitness. Quite random, went to Kuwait, the guys picked me up, and it was amazing. We had a huge party for 3 days in Kuwait. This is in Scandinavia, so in Finland, some of the major retailers and grocers in Finland. This is Whole Foods Market in the UK. And then it's a bad photograph, but this is Odeon Cinemas. It was our first foray into mainstream retail, going up against a Ben & Jerry's or another kind of indulgent ice cream. Odeon Cinemas is the largest cinema chain in the UK. And from that, we matched Ben & Jerry's sales. So our sales and Ben & Jerry's sales and Odeon Cinemas in their top 20 sites are the same. We smash their frozen yogurt offering. And this is just some of the stuff we've won in the last couple of years. We were selected as a game changer by Forbes magazine in Silicon Valley last year. But we haven't gone into the US market yet. We're Great Britain Entrepreneurs finalists this year. We won last year High Potential Business Startup of the Year in the UK. So previous winners of that are Innocent Drinks, Goo Pudding, some of the major brands that came out. And everything we've achieved so far has been on social and digital media, which I can speak about later. Here's our Odeon sales. So again, Odeon, so the red guys, we don't really mention them, but they're the #1 brand in the UK owned by Unilever. And the two fat guys that sell a lot of sugar and fat, and we hate them. And we're beating them. So the green guys are the frozen yogurt offering. And we smashed the frozen yogurt offering as well on Odeon, so that's rolling out further. And that's proof of concept for us that we were ready for mainstream retailers. We've also got a healthcare option. So again, how do we build volume if we're going to stay out of the mainstream retailers and while building our brand? So we're currently continuing a trial with King's College Hospital in the UK and the Royal Free Hospital for haematology and oncology wards, and feeding patients and bariatric patients post-surgery as part of our brand. Earlier this year, again, we try to pick up as much free press as we can. We don't have major budgets. We don't spend on advertising, so how the hell do we let people know about our brand? As I mentioned, social media and digital media, we have a whole team that look after that, and talking about not speaking to kids or the kids, how adults tend to speak to them. Our digital media team are all under 24. We use an agency who are absolutely incredible, and this is probably a $20 to $30 million agency, and the whole business is under 24. So we use those guys to create viral content. All of our imagery is created by them, and we have a fantastic partnership. Unilever selected us last year, again, just from Free Press, as a trailblazer brand in Europe. So again, a brand that is trying to change how people live their lives. That's our note on Silicon Valley. And then we use content. How do we create, again, this traction with retailers and this traction with consumers? We bring in celebrity chefs. So randomly, we blind taste tested Delia Smith. We didn't tell her what it was. We kind of jumped on her in the street, not literally, but like just said, Delia, try this. And we recorded it. And she couldn't tell the difference between our ice cream, our vanilla ice cream, and another branded ice cream. And we were ready to post it. And then talking about small brands getting the legal letters in the door, it was like, no, Delia's fee is XXX, outside our budget, but that's in our pocket. It'll be leaked. Hopefully the Russians can get involved in that. Hopefully. And that's really a fast track snapshot on our business and brand. This year is going to be the biggest year ever. It's our first trek into mainstream retail in the UK. We've got some of the largest retailers in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and Benelux. And we've done everything literally off the back of social and digital media, brand ambassadors. How do you influence the influencer? And the key learnings for us you have to stand for something. There's a key. Your business, you have to be on a mission. We're on a mission. That mobile freezer unit, and we've hired people out of major companies. Our brand manager at the time we hired out of Ben & Jerry's. She was assistant brand manager for Ben & Jerry's in Europe. And when we didn't have a clue how to build the brand, we rang up Unilever's head office in London and said, can I speak to somebody in ice cream? We're going to build Red Bull. Help us. So she ended up speaking to Steph, and then we hired Steph out of Unilever. Now, she's been hired out of us by L'Oreal and tripled her salary, which is fair enough. But, but we got that learning and getting that expertise into the business very early. And we're on a mission. We're on a mission. We're 4.5 years into our mission. And when we started this, when I said, we're going to build Red Bull, people thought I was a lunatic. And we're 4.5 years down, and people still think I'm a lunatic, but we are going to build a Red Bull-sized business out of Ireland. And thank you for listening.